Hello, good morning. Am I audible to everyone? I think we have about 11 people on the call. Okay, fine. Right. So, should we start now? Okay, so I'm expecting some more people, but anyhow, maybe they join the course, new course. Fine. So, my name is Stanley. I'm a systems administrator. So, I have about 15 years of experience in IT and training as well. So, my core competences being Windows Server Administration, Sccm, Microsoft Azure, and of course Intune. Okay. So today what we'll do is we'll just get into the Intune part of system administration, precisely device management. Okay. Some of you may be already system administrators. Some of you may be from a different background. Doesn't matter. But we'll just try to get basic knowledge on Intune, and let's see how it helps you as a IT admin to pursue your career. Fine. Okay. And towards the end of the session, you can clarify all your queries. Sounds good. You can just ping in the chat if you have anything at all. So I'm presenting my screen. I hope everybody can see. Okay, fine. Yeah, I'm in maximum mode. Is the resolution small? Okay, let me go full screen. I'm already full screen, I guess. And I'm sharing my full screen. Better now? Okay, fine. Right. So let's get the definition of Intune first of all. So Microsoft official documentation is available. You don't have to depend on any third-party thing. Okay. So if you are already from a system administration background, this link docs.microsoft.com and which leads to Intune documentation. Okay, so everything is there right from the beginning to all advanced topics. You can use this. Fine. So as per official Microsoft document, so Intune is defined as an MDM and MAM solution. Okay, and it is cloud based. That is important, right? So this is what it's talking about. So cloud based MDM and MAM solution. So MDM is mobile device management and MAM is mobile application management. So what can we actually do with Intune? So you control how your organization devices are used, like including mobile phones, tablets and laptops. So it's all about mobility as well as security with Intune. Okay. So mobility as well as security for your devices. Now, somebody from let's say Sccm background may have some questions like when we already have Sccm, why again Intune? Okay, because they seem similar products, both Intune as well as Sccm. But trust me, once you learn this course, you will clearly understand the difference between Intune and Sccm. Yeah, though both have same kind of purpose, but they are unique products. Okay, both have their respective functionalities, and of course, we will be seeing all the differences in detail as we proceed further. Okay, so SCCM is more of a on-premise solution, okay, whereas Intune is cloud-based, and Intune is end-user device management. It does not include server support. That is one more major difference. Whereas SCCM can support servers as well. Okay. Now let's go further. So this is what it's all about: mobile device management. Okay, so managing your corporate devices that your employees use. This device can be a desktop, or it can be a laptop, or it can be a mobile, or a tablet, etc. Okay, VMs also are supported to an extent if you are doing some testing and all, but with limited functionality. Okay, but if it's a physical device, yes, this is what Intune can support. Okay, and there is some third party also, so we'll get into those details as well. We'll try to understand what Intune can do first of all. So you can configure specific policies to control applications. Okay, a simple example is saying you can prevent emails from being sent to people outside your organization. So this is called app protection. Okay, so I don't want my organization employees using their official mail IDs to send email to outside world. Okay, or using official mail ID and sending content to others outside of the company's network. Okay, or using official mail ID to access personal data and that kind of stuff. So we can avoid that. Okay, so Intune is part of enterprise mobility and security. So this is important that we understand. So Microsoft has certain products under this package. It's called EMS Suite, Enterprise Mobility and Security. So if you are planning for Intune licensing, so you can get a Intune standalone license, or you can go for EMS license. Okay, so you have two packages available: EMS 3 or EMS 5, for example, or Intune standalone. If you want only Intune, then you have Intune standalone as well. Fine. So what is important is Intune integrates with Azure Active Directory to control who has access and what can they access. Okay, so it's all about providing mobility and security, right? So within my organization, so which users can access what data and applications. So I'm going to control as an Intune administrator. Okay, so I'm going to provide them mobility. So on the go, you can work from anywhere in the globe, not a problem, as long as you are connected to my Intune Azure AD tenant. So you can use a mobile, you can use a tablet or a desktop or a laptop, not a problem. You just connect to your organization's tenant and you can work. But at the same time, I'm going to enforce some restrictions. I'm going to control my end users, because every company has a policy, right? Compliance policy. Okay, so corporate data is important, so you need to protect your corporate data from unauthorized access. So that is what we can do with Intune. Okay, though we are providing mobility to the end user, that the facility where they can work from home or from office or from any random location, all they need is a enrolled device with internet connection. That's all it matters. Okay, but at the same time, security is important. So corporate apps and corporate data need to be protected. Okay, so that is why Intune works in conjunction with Azure Active Directory. So we will be getting some knowledge on Azure Active Directory as well, because Intune does not exist without Azure AD. Okay, because this is where the integration of Intune with Azure AD helps us provide the security part. Okay, so enterprise mobility and security, right? So this security part is actually provided by Azure AD, and not just security part, it is also your identity management. So how will you manage your organization users who enroll to your Intune tenant? Okay, and the devices they use. So you have to manage your users and devices. Okay, so users will log in using certain user accounts, right? So the user IDs, or you'll have to manage a bunch of users as groups, and they use certain devices like a desktop, laptop, etc. So it's called identity management. Okay, so all this we will be able to do, because by default Intune integrates with this component called Azure Active Directory. Okay, so that is why it is able to provide this security part. So it says Intune can integrate with Azure Active Directory to control who has access and what they can access. So which user can log in from which device and what apps and data they can access is all we can control through policies in Intune. And it also integrates with Azure Information Protection for data protection, for example. Okay, so there is one more Azure service by default here with which Intune integrates. It's called Azure Information Protection. So this is the component which is actually helping us. This is the component which is helping us to secure our data, so we can avoid unauthorized access. And you can integrate Intune with Microsoft 365 suite of products. For example, you can deploy Microsoft Teams. So, Skype for business. Okay. So now it is being called as Microsoft Teams. Okay. Just a name change. It's nothing but Skype for business. Then you have your OneNote and other Microsoft 365 apps. It's nothing but all cloud-based services Microsoft provides to its customers. So this feature enables people in your organization to be productive on all of their devices while keeping your organization's information protected with the policies you create. Okay, so the funda is simple. So I am saying my company employee can work from anywhere. That's fine by me. Okay, so work from anywhere. You can use your own device also. It doesn't matter. It's called BIOD. Bring your own device. Or it can be a corporate device also. Company can issue devices to the employees. If they already have a mobile or a laptop or a tablet with them, they can use it. It's called being your own device. Or if it is bigger companies, MNCs, yeah, they can issue corporate devices to their employees on a large scale. Bulk device enrollment, even that is fine. So work from anywhere you want, use any device you want, but don't worry, I'll take care of the security part. Okay, so who can log in, who can access what data and apps, everything can be controlled. Okay, so with Intune, these are some primary things that we can do. You can choose to be 100% on cloud with Intune, or you can be co-managing with Sccm and Intune. Okay, so this is how it is going to work. So there is this feature called co-management. So if you are a company where you want everything to be on cloud, okay, so if you are a company where you want everything to be on cloud, so you can go with Intune. It will be working as a 100% cloud service. That is fine. So everything can be on cloud. So with Intune, you don't need any infrastructure setup. It's all ready to use. Microsoft gives you everything in a pre-provisioned mode. Everything is ready. You just log in, create your Azure ready tenant, and log into Intune Portal and start managing your users and devices. Uh, Hello. So I'm audible to everyone, right? Okay, fine. Let's continue, right? So just create a Azure AD tenant and log into your Intune portal and manage your users and devices, for which we configure various policies. Fine, right? Or it says co-managed with configuration manager. So if my company already has some on-premise environment, okay, so we have a corporate on-premise Active Directory domain services, we have on-premise SCCM which is already managing some devices for us, not an issue. Now you want some cloud-based services also to be available, so that will become a hybrid environment, right? So you have some users and devices to manage on-premise, some users and devices to manage on cloud, so you can co-manage. Okay, so both SCCM devices and Intune devices can be co-managed in a hybrid scenario. Okay, so that is also possible. So that is what he's talking about here. So set rules and configuration settings on personal and organization devices to access data and network. Fine. So whether it is a end user's personal device, or which is like bring your own device, not a problem, or it can be a device issued to you by your company, not an issue. Either case, we are going to set up some rules and configuration settings. So we have something called Intune compliance policy, okay, and device configuration profiles. So I can control who can control certain aspects, like which devices can enroll to my Intune portal and which users can log in from these devices. Okay, what apps can be deployed to these devices. Okay, endpoint security and so many other things. So everything can be controlled using these components called the compliance policies and device configuration profiles. Okay, and you can deploy and authenticate apps on devices both on premise and mobiles. That is what I just said. Protect your company information by controlling the way users access and share information. Okay, so Intune allows us to set up app protection policies, Okay, so where you can control access to corporate data. So for example, a end user, let's say I have an employee called X. So this user uses a BIOD. Okay, so this employee has his own mobile with which he enrolled to Intune. This is his personal device. Okay, now on this device he will have both work profile as well as personal profile. So the same data is allowing the end user to access personal data as well as corporate data. Okay, now how do you define this device as a secured device? So this is a conflict, right? But that is how not Intune is limited in that way. So though there is both a corporate profile and a personal profile where you have apps and data, so through Intune, let's say this is your corporate work profile, this is your personal profile. So any apps in the corporate work profile, if you try to send data from them to personal profile apps, that can be blocked. So you can block all sorts of things like copy, paste, send, receive, all that stuff. Okay. So though it's a personal device, still not a problem. The end user still can enjoy the privilege of having access to personal data, at the same time being productive enough by accessing corporate data and applications. But if they try to mess with the security aspect, don't worry. You can provide certain security policies, enforce them so that they don't mess with these two things. Okay, corporate data and apps will stay secure within this corporate work profile. At the same time, you will have your own personal space where you can have access to your personal apps and data. So two segregated environments can be there on a personal device. And if it is a corporate issued device, then there is no issue here. Everything will be corporate data and apps. There is no scope for any personal workspace here. Okay, because it is a company issued device. So company wants you to only maintain corporate data and corporate apps, no personal stuff here. Okay, but if your own device that you are using to enroll to Intune, then this data protection and app protection policies will help. Okay, and be sure that all your devices and apps are compliant with your security requirements. So I'm going to enforce so many rules and restrictions as my company is expecting me to do that. So you can make sure that all the devices and apps will be using these policies and make sure that they are compliant enough. So whichever devices and apps follow the rules will be considered as compliant. Anything that doesn't adhere to the rules and restrictions being imposed will be considered non-compliant. Then you can remediate, look into the aspect where it is lacking and then remediate the issue, and then make sure it also comes into a compliant state. Okay, so just for the glimpse of it, so this is your Intune portal, endpoint.microsoft.com. So this is my ID. It's a trial tenant that I'm using. So this is how your endpoint portal would look like. Okay, so you can launch all services from here, and then each one of these entities called a blade. So you have this device blade, so where you can manage all devices. This is your apps blade, where you can manage all your applications. Then you have your endpoint security, where you can focus on the security aspect of your devices. Okay, then reporting is also available. Yeah, everything that you deploy as an Intune admin, you want data to be pulled, and you can share this data with concerned management. Then for user management, you have this users blade. Okay, Sometimes a bunch of users will have same requirement. Okay, so you can manage as groups. You have the group concept, and you have tenant administration. Like I said, Intune, you know, integrates with Azure Active Directory. So that is called your Azure Ready tenant. So this is my tenant here. When I created my Intune trial, it automatically created my tenant for me. Okay, so this is my tenant, testflit.onmicrosoft.com. So that is what I can administer from here under tenant administration. And for any troubleshooting or support from Microsoft, I can do it from here. Okay, I can troubleshoot here, or I can raise a ticket when I get issue that I am unable to manage at my end. And this is your Azure Ready portal where I logged into my corresponding Active Directory tenant. Now here also I can do my identity and security management. Okay, so I can manage users and groups from here. I can manage devices also from here. This is because Intune, as this point is suggesting, so Intune integrates with Active Directory, Azure Active Directory, to control who has access and what they can access. So enterprise mobility is provided by Intune, but security part is handled by Azure AD. Okay, so without Azure AD, it will not be possible to sign up for a Intune trial or a licensed account. Okay, so this is by default, by design. You have to create a Active Directory tenant because it will handle the security part. Fine. Now going forward, so what else he's talking about in the definition here? So he says you can manage devices. Okay, there is an interactive guide, and you can manage apps. Okay, compliance and conditional access. So many things. So in a nutshell, this is what we can do in Intune. Okay, so what exactly are we going to learn topic by topic? So first we'll see introduction to Intune, and then we will gain knowledge on various portals that are available for admin logon for your day-to-day activity. Fine. So then we'll get to the tenant part. So tenant administration. So how this Azure Active Directory tenant is generated. Okay, and how do we manage the tenant for the security part? All this stuff we are going to learn. Then would come your device enrollment part. So Intune supports what products exactly? Is it only Microsoft based, or does it include third party also? Okay, so if you can Google it again. So Intune does support third party also. So if you just Google Intune supported operating system, for example, so you can see it here. So Intune supports these operating systems on the devices which enroll. So it can be a Windows machine, of course, but Windows 10 or later. Windows 8.1 is supported conditionally, okay, but very soon it is going to be retired, okay. So it has to be only Windows 10 or higher from now onwards. If you have some third-party devices, so like Apple, Mac OS, yeah, even that is supported, but it has to be, version 10.15 and later. So everything is clearly mentioned here. Now, Android devices are also supported, but version has to be 8.0 and later. And Apple mobiles are also iOS phone or iOS, iPad, what you call it, tablet or iPad, whatever it is. Okay. So third party support is also there, but you have to make sure it is the corresponding or later version, okay, but not previous version. This is by design that these versions are supported in Intune. Okay, so coming to Windows stuff, see Windows 11 Home, Pro, Education and Enterprise editions. So Surface Hub, Windows 10 is giving you the complete list. Okay, what mobiles are supported, all this you can gather. So what devices can enroll? So Windows are supported, okay, Android, iOS devices and even Mac OS devices are supported, but make sure you have the correct version as per Microsoft documentation. Okay, so before we can enroll these devices, like I mentioned, so we need to comply. Okay, so as per Microsoft Intune documentation, it has to be the right version. If it is an earlier version, it will not be supported. So we will have to create some rules and restrictions in the form of compliance policies or device configuration policies. They are called profiles actually. So that is what we are going to learn. Okay. So this will help us, enroll various devices that you want to manage through Intune. Okay. What else are we going to learn? So once we create our Azure ready tenant, so then we can see the user and group management. Okay, because sometimes the end user requirement will be unique, or sometimes it will be common for a bunch of people. So if it is a unique requirement that varies from user to user, so I can define some settings at a user level. But sometimes for a bunch of users, if I have to define and enforce some policies with common settings, then instead of applying individually at user level, put them in a group and then manage as a group. This is something not very new. We have this concept of groups in Windows also. Okay, for ease of administration, we can put them in groups and manage them in bulk. Okay, because they have common requirements, some common requirement. Sometimes it can be varying from user to user, then you can apply settings at a individual user level, but then again it has to be put in a group and then you will uh, assign it to a group, because in Intune all assignments will be at a group level. Okay, so even if you have to apply something at an individual user level, put that user in a group and then assign that policy to the end user. Fine. So this is where we come into the uh, intro part. Okay, now the next section would be the deployment part, where you manage your apps. Okay, so we will see, just like in Sccm, how we deploy applications, packages, etc. Intune has same kind of functionality. So Intune can also deploy apps, so it can support app deployment in various methods. So we'll see those different types available. For example, you have LOB deployment, line of business app deployment, or commonly used Win32 deployment, package deployment. So this is called Intune packaging. Okay, so there are different ways in which you can deploy either Microsoft apps or third-party apps and ensure that right users or right devices have the right apps deployed to them. Okay, and then using your app protection policies, we can make sure that all apps and corporate data is access to apps and corporate data is authenticated and authorized. So you don't want anybody with unauthorized access coming into your network. So you can ensure that only your organization employees, the right users and the right devices have access to apps as well as data. Okay. And now we have the hybrid environment part where you can do co-management. Okay, so if you are a company where you have already an Sccm environment on premise, okay, but your company also wants to have some cloud based services, so they sign up for Intune as well. So through Sccm you are managing devices, through Intune also you are managing devices. So this is what we call a co-management scenario. Okay, so when a same device, that is, let's say this is a desktop of some employee, okay, now it is already being managed by Sccm on premise. Now you have also signed up for Intune. Okay, so the same machine has both Intune client as well as Sccm client installed. So that is when you call it as co-managed. Okay, so because the device is being managed both by Sccm and it is also Intune enrolled. So it's an on-premise device, but also being provided cloud-based services through Intune. So this is what co-management is called. Now, in the same hybrid environment, we are going to concentrate on our on-premise Active Directory domain services as well. Okay, so we are going to synchronize our on-premise data with Azure AD, because you want your devices to be accessible both on premise and on cloud. So this is what you call SSO, single sign on. So I want one employee to use only one user ID, okay, to log on to whether it is on premise or cloud or MSOL. There is something called MSOL, which is nothing but Microsoft 365. Nowadays it is common across many companies. Okay, so end users use, normally when you sign up, okay, so to log into a on-premise computer you will use your ID issued by Active Directory domain services, which is your on-premise ID. When you sign up to Intune, then you will use another ID. When you sign up to Microsoft online services or Microsoft 365 like Office Online, Exchange Online, Microsoft Teams, OneDrive, OneNote, all these apps. So you have different types of apps. Fine. So for each different scenario, if you have to, log in with a different ID, that can be, practically a bit of a complication for end users. So you don't have to, necessarily do that. So there is something called single sign-on which you can enable. So one user will use only one user ID, and using the same user ID they can log into on-premise or they can log into cloud and get authenticated by Azure AD, or the same ID will help us to log into Microsoft 365 and access all those online apps, all Microsoft 365 apps. So this is what is called single sign-on. Okay, so that is what we are going to see, how to enable this single sign-on using this hybrid environment concept. But we will have to synchronize your on-premise AD with your Azure AD using a tool called AD Connect. Okay, so this will help you to, what do you say? So this is where, I can see both my on-premise users as well as Intune users, cloud-based. Okay, so I can synchronize my on-premise AD with my Azure AD, and then my on-premise user IDs and groups will also show up here So that is where your single sign-on can be enabled. So that is when using just one ID. So let's say my company is xyz.com. So I have an employee called user1. So user1@xyz.com. So this will be the UPN, user principal name. Using this one ID, I will log into my on-premise environment. I will log into my Azure AD cloud tenant, and the same ID I can use to sign up for various Microsoft 365 apps. It can be your Office, Exchange Online, SharePoint, OneNote, whatever Microsoft has to offer, or even third-party apps also, doesn't matter. So that is your single sign-on. We will also see a bit of DNS management, okay, for custom domain environment. So how to manage your custom domains, company branding, all that stuff we will see. Okay, so because once you go into a corporate environment, we will not use domains which are private, right? It has to be a public domain. So something like providers, domain providers like GoDaddy, BigRock, etc. Your company has to get a registered domain, and your user IDs will have to be created using this custom domain extension. Okay, so you will have to manage public domains using this DNS management concept. So creating your text records, TXT or MX records in signing up with various domain providers, doing your company branding, etc. Like when I log into this portal, so I'm going to get my company branding. Okay, so just for example, so let me sign out and let me show you again, because it's just a trial. See, so when I log in here, so the background will be different, and can you see this? I'm just using some custom background here. So here you can use your company logo, company brand image, that kind of stuff. I'm just using some joystick as my background, and see, I'm using a keyboard here. So this is your company brand or company brand logo. There can be a custom background, and see, I've set up a message here also, which is welcome to FLIT lab. So all this customization I can do for the end user login experience, even if it is an admin, that is. So whether you are an administrator or an end user, your company wants you to have company branding when you log on to the cloud portals like Intune Portal or Azure AD Portal or Microsoft 365 services, etc. Okay. All this we will see in this Azure AD part. Right. What else are we going to see? Okay. So we will see hybrid Azure AD join. Can you hold on 1 minute? No, please. So hybrid Azure AD join. So that is when a device is enrolled. So you want it to join your on-premise ADDS, and at the same time you want it to join Azure AD automatically. So in the end, it can enroll to Intune also automatically. Because see, if it is just one or two devices, okay, I can enroll them manually. But in a live scenario, in a production environment where you have hundreds and thousands of devices, you can't keep doing things manually, right? Because it's heavy workload. Fine. So everything will be a hybrid environment. So as soon as the machine joins on-premise AD, it will get automatically uh, enroll to Azure AD, and in turn it will also enroll to Intune automatically. So we can configure all this through this single sign up, single sign on component. Especially when you do bulk enrollment, you don't want to be doing things manually one by one. And there is Intune operating system deployment concept, where it is very important to learn this concept called Autopilot. So through Intune, it's not just about app deployment. We can also do OSD management. So we can deploy operating system. It is called Windows Autopilot. So this is specific to Windows operating systems. Windows 10 or later, that is 11, is also supported now. So you can deploy operating system through Intune, full automation. So you can again have two options here. You can either give the control to end user, or you can control yourself as an admin. Okay, so user driven or self driven deployment of Windows operating systems. It's called Windows Autopilot. Intune will also support patching. So it's called Windows Updates for Business. So all your Windows devices you can patch on a monthly basis. So normally you'll get this, updates, right? Feature updates, which you get probably twice in a year or thrice in a year. Okay, for Windows it is twice in a year, 6 months once, and for Windows 11 it's as of now once every year, but very soon that will also become twice a year. It's called feature update. And then there is another thing called quality update. So we can do both these deployments, patch deployments. Now quality update is something which we get on every second Tuesday of the month, the patch Tuesday. Second Tuesday of the month, every month Microsoft releases patches, as you all know. So it's called patch Tuesday. So these will, just provide fix to your existing software issue. Okay, so it can be a security fix or a bug fix, something of that sort. To your existing software, you apply a fix because there is some issue. Now this happens every month, quality updates. But feature updates, they happen, twice, at the most thrice in a year. So that is when you do a feature update, your build will change. So for example, currently if you look at my desktop, so I'm using Windows 21 H2 version, which is nothing but Windows 10 Pro, and this is the build 1904. Okay, so when you apply a feature update, this will change. So currently that is my build 1904. So when I apply a quality update, this will not change. But when I update a feature, or when I provide a feature update to this machine, this build will change. Okay, and the version can also change. So through Intune, we can also do an OS upgrade. So that is the advantage here, meaning a Windows 10 machine can be upgraded to Windows 11. Okay, nowadays this is going to happen across all companies on a large scale. Sooner or later, companies will start upgrading their Windows 10 workstations and desktops to Windows 11. So Intune has introduced this feature recently. So you can do a bulk or a large scale upgrade of all your Windows 10 machines to Windows 11. Okay. So as part of deployment, yeah, Intune can not just manage apps, it can also manage operating system deployment, where you have Windows Autopilot. We can manage patching for your Windows machines through Windows Update for Business, where you can manage the feature updates and quality updates. Okay, and you can do OS upgrade also from 10 to 11. And all these things can be reported using Intune reporting, etc. Okay, and like I mentioned, yeah, we will focus on the co-management part, synchronize with on-premise, and then upload my Sccm clients to Intune and make sure they are co-managed devices. This is also a common requirement for IT companies nowadays. Okay, because see, people who are from Sccm administration background have this common doubt that is Sccm going to end? Okay, because now that we have Intune in place, this is a common doubt, Windows admins or Sccm admins face. But that is not the case here. Sccm is here to stay by all means. Sccm will not go anywhere. Of course, the product branding and name has changed. We don't call it Sccm anymore. We call it MECM, Microsoft Endpoint Configuration Manager. Okay, so MECM is here to stay. It will go nowhere. Okay, and Intune will also be there. So both products have kind of same purpose, but they have their respective functionalities. What Intune can do, Sccm cannot do, and vice versa. What MECM can do, Intune cannot do. Okay, so Intune is by not any means a replacement of MECM, not at all. Okay, Microsoft's intention is not that. MECM will continue as it is, Intune will continue as it is in a co-management environment. Okay, so don't get any of those doubts where MECM or Sccm will perish. No, that's not the case. Microsoft Intune strongly recommends co-management. If you want something on-premise based, you go with Sccm. If you want everything on cloud, then you go with Intune. This is okay with mid-level companies or startup companies. If they don't want to have their own setup, they will go with everything cloud-based, pre-provisioned. Okay, but how about bigger companies which already have their data centers, okay, and on-premise environment? They will preferably not move everything to cloud. They would rather work in a hybrid environment. They would rather go with co-management. On-premise devices, they'll manage with MECM. On cloud devices, they'll manage with Intune. And some devices, they'll co-manage. Okay, so see the benefit individually. MECM has its own benefits, pros and cons. Intune has its own pros and cons. So whichever suits you better, use that product. Okay, so but definitely Intune, remember, is not a replacement for MECM. They will rather survive in a co-management environment. So even if you are a Sccm administrator, you will still be in demand, not a problem. But it's not, it would definitely be a good idea to explore your skill set in Intune as well, because nowadays it is becoming a common scenario across all IT companies, a co-management environment. So mix and match of this and that. Okay, both Sccm and Intune knowledge will be a critical skill set for your IT company. So that is why Intune is so much in demand now. Okay, so especially in the last 4 years, many companies have started implementing Intune and they're running their device management in a co-management environment. Fine. So then there will be other topics like Intune RBAC, role-based access control, where you can control who has access to your uh, Intune portal. Okay, so I can provide control, delegate control. So I can't give full control access to everyone. So I can delegate control. So some users I can give, some admins I can give full control, and to some I can give role-based access. Okay, delegate a few set of permissions. Okay, for example here. So this is my administrator account by default with which I have signed up. So if you look at the assigned role here, it's a global administrator, meaning it has full control. But to somebody else, I want to assign role based. I just want them to do certain aspects only, if not full control. So then I can add an assignment. So I have some built-in roles. I can create custom roles also. Okay, so I just want to give him read-only access, but on everything. So I have something called a reader role, directory reader, for example. So just select that and add that role, that kind of stuff. So whatever that role permissions have to offer, now this user has been assigned this directory reader role. Okay, can read basic directory information commonly used to grant directory read access, that kind of stuff. So to some I can give read write access with full control. To some it can be just read only access, that kind of stuff. Okay, and yeah, we will get into some third party stuff also. Okay, so how to plan for enrollment of Android devices or Mac OS devices or iOS devices, etc. For example, if you want to set up Apple device enrollment, you need a third party component, okay, called MDM push certificate. So you'll have to sign up with Apple, create an Apple ID, and you generate this MDM push certificate. Only then you'll be able to enroll Mac or iOS devices. Okay, and coming to Android, you'll have to create a managed Google Play account, just like on a personal phone, how you use a personal Gmail ID to sign up for an Android device. In a corporate scenario, you'll have to create an enterprise Google Play account. So you can connect to managed Google Play Store, and from there you can have access to apps so that you can deploy it to end users. Okay, so how to sign up or enroll third party devices like Android, Mac OS, iOS device. So Intune console side, portal side, whatever we need to do as an admin, all that we can see. But end user experience, it depends. Okay, so we may not be able to see everything on third party devices, but yes, okay, using Windows VMs, we will definitely see the end user experience also. That's not a problem. Okay, so coming to third party, end user experience will be limited. We may not see all the things as it happens, but we can use certain Windows VMs and definitely see the end user experience. So what exactly happens when an end user signs up with a device, all that stuff. Okay, so any other important aspect that I am missing here? So pretty much it, just go through your Intune curriculum. So those will be the topics that we are going to discuss. Okay, so let me see. So device enrollment, app deployment, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, so these will be the topics that we are going to discuss. Yeah, one thing I forgot to mention, as part of Azure AD, there will be two more topics which we'll be discussing as part of AAD. So you will have conditional access and what was the other thing? Sorry, privileged identity management. Okay, something called Azure AD PIM, privileged identity management and conditional access. And recently Intune has added remote control support. So you have Microsoft's own app for remote control of Intune devices. If your company is using some third party like TeamViewer or AnyDesk already, you can use them. But if you don't want to buy again some third party licenses, within Intune you have a ready to use aspect called remote control. Okay, so you don't have to buy any third party app additional where it would involve some additional licensing. Just use Intune built-in remote control application. So sometimes if you have to, especially do troubleshooting on an end user machine, so you can take remote control of that end user machine using this Microsoft app, Intune remote control. Okay, so then you can verify Intune related logs, event viewer, and any other things that you typically need to do in a troubleshooting scenario, and then resolve the issue. And then once you are, once you find yourself in a position to resolve the issue, just sign out and give the access back to end user. Okay, so all these kind of things that we are going to learn in Intune. Fine. So somebody with Sccm background or Azure AD background will find it easy to learn right from the go. But even if you are from a different background, you won't have to worry about it. Just make sure get your fundamentals strong. Okay, and then once you establish a fundamental understanding of the concepts of Azure AD and on-premise AD, then definitely it should be easy for people who are from different background also to understand Intune management. Not an issue. Okay. Fine. So coming to the product part. So let me go back to my work. Okay. So like I mentioned, Intune standalone license is available. So you'll get a 30-day trial as far as learning aspect is concerned. You can sign up for Intune where you'll get about 25 licenses for 30 days. So you can use one license per user and you can have trial account access for 30 days. Okay. After 30 days, if you wish to continue, then it has to be a paid subscription. So it is, per user per month billing, but the bill invoice will be annual. You'll have to pay Microsoft every year. I mean, as far as it is for training or learning purpose, you always go with trial accounts. Okay, but once you get into real time and if you are managing the billing part also, then you have to understand. Okay, so Intune provides two type of licenses: user based or device based also is available. So see what option suits you better and then accordingly you buy those licenses. Okay, mostly 90% of the companies go with user based license because with one user license you can sign up for multiple devices. Okay, that is an advantage there. But there is a better option here. Instead of Intune standalone license, if it would be better if we go with EMS, Enterprise Mobility and Security License. Okay, EMS 3 or EMS 5 would be better. I would recommend 5. Use this EMS 5 trial. So what will be the difference? Okay, so it will give you so many additional features. You just sign up for Intune. See, the limitation is 30 days and only 25 licenses. But if you go with EMS 5 trial, you'll get a lot of additional features like Azure AD Premium 1, Premium 2 will be included for identity and security management. You will get 250 licenses for 90 days. That is the advantage. So Microsoft is being generous here in EMS case. So you'll get 90-day trial period and you'll get 250 licenses. So you can practice a lot, and there are so many other additional features. So let me show you. So if I go to my AAD portal, so see what are those additional benefits we get with EMS. So I have signed up for an EMS trial here. So if I go to my licenses, see the product. So this is my enterprise and mobility and security E5C. So I've signed up for this. So I can assign it to, or let's see the features here. Okay. So this many components it will support. So it supports Azure AD Premium 1, Premium 2 for data protection. For identity management, it will give you Premium 1 and Premium 2. For data protection, see information protection, Premium 1 and Premium 2. So for user management, group management, you have Azure Rights Management. For secure logons, you have something called multi-factor authentication. So when I log into this, Azure portal or Intune portal, I'll be prompted to first enter my password, of course. Then there will be an additional authentication component, like you'll get a one-time password to your phone, or you can use Microsoft Authenticator app, which also generates a one-time secret code. So your logins can be more secure. So because it's just my lab environment, I have disabled that feature. But in real time, you will not disable it. Multi-factor authentication will always be enabled. Okay, you'll get also antivirus protection like Microsoft Defender for cloud apps for identity, and Microsoft Intune is also included. So if you get only Intune license, it will not come with so many products, or it will not come with this many features. So just do the compare. Okay, so if you want to do an R&D of all these factors and components, so go with this license, that is better. Enterprise mobility and security E5. So here it's only 30-day period of trial with 25 licenses, but here see, you are getting so many additional features with 250 licenses, and it's a 90-day trial. And I think Microsoft is giving an extension of another 30 days, I guess. I've not tested it yet, but there is documentation available. So after 90 days, if you still want to continue your trial period extension, then you can request Microsoft to extend your trial by another 30 days. If it gets accepted, that's get better. So you'll get for 30 days more the free license. Okay, but after this, if you still wish to continue, then yeah, you'll have to start paying per user per month. There will be some cost involved. Okay, you can see the pricing and other details for that. Okay, so that's about the Intune trial. Okay, as far as training part is concerned, in real time, obviously your company will buy licenses in bulk. So companies will go with MVLS, Microsoft Volume Licensing Statement, and they will buy licenses in bulk. Depending upon how many employees will use Intune, that many licenses your company will buy in bulk. Okay, but if you are also the billing administrator, you should have some basic knowledge of the pricing aspects also. how to purchase them and all that stuff. So documentation is available. You can always contact Microsoft sales team and clarify any doubts you have. Fine. And coming to the certification part, if you are interested in that, so there are a couple of exams here that you will have to write. So you have MD 100 and 101, modern desktop management, and MS 100 and 101. Okay, so just go through these certification codes, MD 100 and 101 and MS 100 and 101. So if you complete these exams, that is what you will become. Or let me pull it up for you. So exam MD 100 and 101. So this is called modern desktop administrator associate. This is one part of your Intune, so where your skills will be measured in these areas. So how you deploy Windows through Intune, manage devices and data, configure storage, connectivity, maintain Windows, deploy and upgrade operating systems, manage policies and profiles, protect devices, manage apps and data. All this will be learning in your Intune curriculum. Okay, so this is modern desktop associate. So you'll have to complete these two exams, MD 100 and 101. And there is another part of it called MS 100 and 101. Let's go with Microsoft official link here. Where is it? Not getting anything. Always go with Microsoft links, that would be better. Yeah. So the other thing is MS 100 and 101. So this will be your tenant and service management, okay, and security. So the security part I was talking about. Co-management, prepare your Windows 10 devices, transition from Sccm to Intune. Like you can migrate also once you have enabled co-management. So slowly, if you want to, uh, decommission your on-premise Sccm, so you can migrate all your Sccm clients to Intune. And once everything is successfully migrated, you can decommission your Sccm. Okay. So some topics related to mobile device management in these certifications and security aspect. Okay, how to create users groups, how to enable RBAC, assignment of roles, delegation of control, all that stuff will be in MS 101 part. So there are about 4 exams. Once you complete, you will be considered Intune administrator. That is actually 2 different aspects. So MD is modern desktop admin associate, and this is the tenant, the enterprise administrator certificate. So just go through the links. If you have any queries, you can definitely ask. Okay, this is just like any other Microsoft exam. You just have to visit a Prometric testing center, sign up for it, and take it up whenever you are ready. Okay, fine. So if any one of you, or one by one, if you have any queries, yeah, please feel free to clarify. Hello. Yeah, please go ahead. Like I said, don't compare. Okay, so if if you're a big company, MNC, okay, you already have your data centers, fine. So setting up on-premise infra is not a big deal for you. Getting my point? Okay. So let's say if you want to set up SCCM, what will be the requirements? Okay, you need servers, right? So you need at least two servers. Fine. You need a AD. Okay. You need one more server to set up SCCM. Okay. You need one more server to set up SQL, and you need at least a couple more of servers to run your SCCM roles. Yes or no? Okay. So many things are here. Fine. So at least 4-5 servers per site you will need. So let's say I'm managing about 5 servers, AD, SCCM, SQL, and 2 servers to run my SCCM core and optional roles. So I need to set up this infrastructure. Okay. 5 servers I have to manage. So there will be some data center cost involved here. So maybe I'm investing in hardware here or setting up virtual machines, whatever it is. And every month I'll have to do the maintenance here, hardware maintenance, software maintenance, patching, all this stuff. So I need some manpower. I have to invest in some hardware, setup part. I need some manpower here every month to take care of the server patching, hardware maintenance, all that stuff. Yes or no? So it involves a lot of cost. Okay. Now let's say I'm a startup company. Okay. So I don't know anything about hosting a data center or server management, etc. So I just have 100 employees who use their laptops or desktops. Either they work from office or home, doesn't matter. All they have is a device, okay, a laptop or a desktop or even mobile. Okay, I just want them devices to be managed, but I don't want to invest in infrastructure much. Okay. Moreover, setting up on-premise infrastructure, okay, even if you are not worried about the cost aspect, look at the timeline here. For you to set up the infrastructure, it will take some time, yes or no? It will take time, at least 3 to 6 months. By the time you are done with the testing part and you go live, it will take at least 3 to 6 months. But let's say I'm a startup company, very new, okay, but I've got a project and I should go live as soon as possible and start managing my devices. So then SCCM is not a better option. Okay, Intune is better. So within a matter of couple of days, I can just sign up for an Intune account or a Ems Trial or paid, whatever it is, because here I'll not need any infrastructure. Everything, once you sign up for Intune, it's a cloud-based service. So everything you need is provided as a service, SaaS, cloud terminology, software as a service. Okay, so we'll be talking about some cloud terminology in the coming sessions, of course, but to clarify your doubt. So it's provided as a ready to use service. So don't worry about setting up infrastructure with lot of cost and timeline involved. Within matter of a day or two, you just sign up for Intune account and start managing, you enroll your devices. That also doesn't take much time. Even if you have 100 devices or 1000 devices, doesn't matter. Enrollment also can happen within a matter of minutes, and immediately you can start managing your devices, as simple as that. So what I've done, I have avoided the on-premise infrastructure cost. Yes. And once I set up an on-premise infrastructure, every month I have some maintenance here. I need some manpower to take care of my infrastructure. Okay, so 24/7 I have to run these servers, hardware maintenance, software maintenance, patching, all those things, and I need a lot of manpower for this. Now with cloud-based services, what I've done, I have eliminated all this, right? And the timeline is also beyond compare. Where is 3 months or 6 months, or where is 1 or 2 days, where you can go live within a matter of day also, because everything is cloud-based, software as a service, ready to use. All you have to do is create an account, Microsoft 365 account, enroll your devices within matter of minutes, and start your device management ASAP. That's it. Okay. But bear in mind, if you are trying to manage servers, Intune is not the solution. Okay, because Intune as of now does not support server management. No, not to servers. Okay, so Microsoft has not yet, introduced the server support in Intune. So maybe down the line they may have a plan in future, but as of now it does not support that. Okay, so if it is only end user machine, so it's called EUC, right? End user computing. So if it is a desktop or a laptop or a mobile device or a tablet, then it's fine. Intune can manage. Even third party also, like Apple devices, it can manage. Android devices, it can manage. Not an issue. Or Windows desktops, Windows 10 and 11, it can manage, but not servers. Okay. Huh. So like I mentioned, Intune licensing is available in two methods. Okay. So you can go with user-based licensing or device-based. So device-based is comparatively less, at a lesser price. I think it will be about $2 per month or something. You just have to keep checking because prices can change. Okay, so let's cross check what is the latest price. Intune license price, if you pull up, see there is device licensing and user based licensing. Okay, so Intune standalone, where does it mention a price? Okay, let's check device licensing. For pricing, you'll have to go to another link, I guess. Okay, so Intune is pleased to announce a new device-only subscription that helps organizations manage devices. So if a device is not, user-specific, so on that device any user can log in, then you go with device license. Okay, but if it is user-specific, so this particular device is used by a particular user, then you go with user licensing. Okay, so let me pull up the cost factor. So if you want to go with full-fledged, Intune EMSC, so enterprise mobility and security E3 and E5. So these are the core components they provide. Identity and access management. This is security, endpoint management, information protection, identity and prevent security. So this is per user licensing. See, so per user it's about 765 plus GST. So it's a monthly price, but billed annually. Okay. So let's say if I have about 500 employees. Okay. So I have to buy 500 licenses. So when you go in bulk, this pricing can change. This can come down definitely. Yeah. When you buy in bulk, Microsoft gives you a discount. So it comes at a lesser price. So if it is E5C, so it will have more features. So it's about 1100 per month plus GST applicable. So billing will be done monthly, but the payment can be annually once. Okay, so that is how you get the pricing. Okay, user base. Now some devices, like you have kiosk devices, like a ATM machine or a billing counter, POS device, point of sale device, okay, or a kiosk, ticket kiosk, etc., where the logon user is not specific. Whichever user can log on, but just the device should be logged on and the app should be there on the screen. So anybody who has kiosk access can just print ticket, or if it is an ATM, withdraw money, that kind of stuff. For that kind of devices, they are called kiosk devices. Then you go with a device only subscription. This is better. This is at a lower cost. I think if you Google it, it's about $2 per month, I guess. So any doubt, you can call the sales team and clarify that. So he's talking about device license, but he's not mentioned anything about price. Okay, yeah. So that's fine. Okay, so this is how you can get the cost factor. Okay, so please go ahead. Database in the sense, SCCM definitely it depends on SQL database. Okay, so what Microsoft uses in the background, we are not revealed with that. Okay, no, we don't. We don't. Okay, so we don't control. Definitely, Microsoft uses SQL database only, but Microsoft will not reveal that because it's a cloud-based service, software as a service. So we are not to worry about the infrastructure here. Okay. So if you want access to monitoring and reporting part, yeah, Microsoft does give you access to that, no problem. So I can pull up all sorts of reports I want. Okay. So there is reporting blade here. So I want device compliance reports, I can pull up. Device configuration reports, I can pull up. Okay. So I have done some patching this month. I want the compliance data, I can pull up, not a problem. So what Microsoft is using in the background, we don't have to worry about that because this is a cloud-based service. The whole point of cloud-based service is that you don't have to worry about the underlying infrastructure. Customization in the sense, to enroll to Intune, you mean? Huh. No customization is required in general. Okay, so if you want to make a machine enroll to Intune, so like I said, just go through what operating systems Intune supports. Okay, yeah, okay, right. Yes, okay. There is some custom reporting you can do, but you will have to sign up for something called log analytics. Okay, so Azure log analytics. So this will pull up a lot of logs in detail into a central uh, store. Okay, so if you want custom data, etc., there is log analytics that you can create and pull a lot of information into a central store and use this Custo query language to pull that. Yes, that is there, not a problem. Okay, and coming to scripts part also, yes, you can execute different types of PowerShell scripts on your Intune enrolled devices. That is there if required. Yeah. You can do both install and uninstall also, and update also. Yeah, application supersedence is also there. So we can do three things. Yeah. In yeah, it's all cloud based. Okay. So yeah. So coming to the patch part. So in SCCM we can decide, right? For example, in SCCM I can decide to the core. I can do some granular customization criteria, etc., where I can decide which KB articles or which KB numbers I want to deploy, which I want to avoid, etc. That can be done. But in Tune, we don't have that sort of control. Okay, because this is purely cloud-based software as service. Okay, so you just sign up for feature update or quality update. Huh. Yes, yes. I can control, not a problem. So it need not be an instantaneous reboot because end users are working in a presentation mode, so they don't want to be disturbed during business hours. So the scheduling of the activity, like when you want to patch, huh, then definitely your company has to give you some maintenance window, right? Huh. Yeah, most IT environments are 24/7. Agreed. Huh. So, but there has to be some maintenance window. So, okay, my company says if at all there is any patching activity, do it on a Saturday, even if it is a working day. Do it on a Saturday IST between 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. Let's say. So that becomes your maintenance window. So schedule all your activity during this time. Okay. So when the patches are downloaded in the background, we need not worry. Okay. When the policy sync happens, we need not worry. But deployment and reboot. Yeah, go ahead. Yes. Okay, this will be purely based on Microsoft recommendations. All required patches will be updated. Required in the sense whatever Microsoft releases, if it is a quality update, so Microsoft releases on every second Tuesday, right? Of the month, patch Tuesday. And if it is, feature update, it comes once every 6 months or probably thrice in a year. Okay, but I can control when it comes to feature update part. I can control the hold. I mean, so currently my Windows 10 build is 1909. Okay, so if I set up a feature update, let's say I have about 500 Windows 10 machines as of now at 1909 build. My company wants to run this build for another 2 years at least. Okay, they don't want the build to change for the next 2 years. Okay, so if I set a feature update, so after 1909, whatever is the next build, it is already available. I think it is 20H2. So 500 machines can upgrade to 20H2. But my company wants it to be holding at another 2 years. Hold at 1909 and for another 2 years. I can do that, not a problem. So set up this 1909 as a baseline for the next 2 years. So maybe in 2024 March, then they will allow the upgrade. So then they'll go to 20H2. 20H2 again they will hold for another 1 year. Then they will go to 21H2. Huh. Yes, there is. Okay, there is a little bit of packaging involved. So when we do Win32 apps deployment, so we need to convert the file format into a specific package format. Okay, so there is a tool for that, Microsoft provided tool. So it converts into .intune format. You can run it from your local PC, not a problem. You just download that tool, and it can be in exe format. You'll have to convert that into .intune win format. So there is a tool for that purpose, a very simple tool. Yeah, so using this Windows 32 content prep tool, you can convert the exe file into .intune.win format. Then you will upload that into your Intune portal and deploy it to your target devices. Yes, not a problem. Yes, go ahead. No, Intune is a separate service from Azure. So it's part of Microsoft 365 services. So Azure is also one part of it. Okay, so Intune integrates with Azure AD. So these are two separate components. So Intune is not part of Azure AD. Intune is a separate component. Azure AD is a separate component. They're all part of this, MEM, Microsoft Endpoint Manager Suite. Okay, so Azure is a different component. Azure is part of Microsoft Azure Cloud Services. That's a different aspect. Intune is also a cloud service, but it is part of this MEM suite, Microsoft Endpoint Manager. I'll give you a bit of intro in one of the initial sessions on that. So that's a different aspect. So there is something called MEM suite, okay, Microsoft Endpoint Manager. So we have these products. So under Endpoint Manager package, so Intune is there, configuration manager, you have a desktop analytics, co-management, and Windows Autopilot. Okay, whereas Azure is a different cloud service altogether. What is the correlation between Intune and Azure is that, like I said, Intune has to integrate with Azure AD for the security part. So enterprise mobility and security, right? So mobility is MDM, mobile device management. So that part Intune will handle by itself. But for security aspect, it has to integrate with AAD. So AAD provides this security aspect of it. Does it make any sense? Huh, right. Huh. Hmm. Yeah, it might be. It might be in the background. So a lot of Microsoft cloud services again depend on AD only, Azure AD. Huh. So at the moment, even I am not aware of the background. Okay, yeah, maybe let me go through some documentation. Then definitely I can walk you through that. Sure. Okay, because see, until recently, Intune was part of Azure Portal only. Okay, so until 2 years back, so we used to manage Intune from Azure Portal only. So when we log into Azure Portal, so this was the Azure Portal. This is in fact, sorry. So when we log into portal.azure.com, so this is where we used to have, if you go to this, link, so this is where there used to be a separate blade for Intune. So it was part of Azure Portal only, but given as a separate cloud service. So these are different cloud services that are available from Azure Portal. Okay, but recently what Microsoft has done is it has migrated entire Intune components to a separate portal. Now this is the Intune portal. So endpoint.microsoft.com. So if you have worked in Intune from quite a long time, we used to do this. We used to log into Azure portal, and here you would find a separate blade for Intune administration. Now you don't see it anymore. Okay, so because everything has been migrated to this portal now, endpoint.microsoft.com. But what exactly is a correlation between Intune and Azure is that, so when you sign up for Intune trial, or even if you buy it with a license, so Microsoft prompts you to create a Azure tenant. That is mandatory because Intune has to integrate with Azure. Otherwise, there won't be identity and security management for your users and devices. Okay, so mobility part, Intune can take care of things. Okay, a lot of things Intune can take care on its own, but when it comes to the identity management part or security part, Intune depends on Active Directory, that is Azure Active Directory. Okay, so for this we need to make sure that we sign up for Intune and we integrate with Azure AD, where we create a tenancy. This is my tenant in this case. So this is my Azure AD instance. So definitely this is based on some cloud service in the background. It can be Azure Fabric, whatever you were mentioning. Okay, there can be some background. Precisely, we need not worry about that. See, the whole concept of software as a service is that we don't want to worry much about the underlying background. Yeah, but for knowledge sake, maybe there is some documentation available. We can go through and get some clarity on that. Not a problem. Okay. Sure, definitely. If at all there is any Microsoft documentation on that, I'll go through. And if I find any useful information in that aspect, I'll definitely share it with you. Not a problem. No problem. Okay. Huh. Yeah. So even at an architect level, we are not going into any programming or coding here. Okay. But there is nothing in sorts of customization that I will do in the Intune portal. Getting my point. I can't do any customization in the portal here. Okay, because this is software as a service. So everything is pre-provisioned here. Huh. Hmm. Sure, let me go through some documentation if available, and I will give you some clarity on that. Definitely, not a problem. Okay, so everything is based on Microsoft Cloud Service Framework here, obviously. So a lot of components in the background are at play, undoubtedly. But integration with Active Directory Azure is important in aspects of identity management. See, when I said enterprise mobility and security, so it is giving all these features. Okay, Azure AD Premium 1 and 2, Azure Information Protection, Rights Management. So these are all security and identity aspects. So for which Intune is depending on Azure Active Directory. So just like on-premise, you have ADDS to provide certain aspects of it. Okay, so we have Azure AD for cloud-based identity management. And for cloud security, we have this Azure AD. We'll do a comparison in one of the initial topics. Definitely I'll be discussing about the on-premise AD concept, Azure AD concept. We will see the comparison, and we will understand the differences also, and why this Azure AD integration is so important for Intune management. Okay, but as far as the background is concerned, even honestly, at this point of time, even I am not aware of the background components and how exactly it works. Okay, so yeah, if at all there is any Microsoft documentation on that, I'll definitely go through and I will share that information with you as well. Definitely. Okay. So anything which I already know, I'll be more than happy to share with you. Even if there is something that I don't know at the point of time, I can definitely refer to documentation, Microsoft documentation, and I can share it with you. Not a problem. Okay. Because learning, is a continuous process. Every day we learn something new. It doesn't stop, at one point. Definitely. Okay. Sure. That's not a problem. Okay. But since it is software as a service, Microsoft doesn't have to reveal everything to us. They will take care of all the background components. That is the logic of software as a service. But definitely there is some documentation. If available, we can get those details and clarify. Not a problem. Yeah, because we are normally administrators, so we don't get to that level where we need to understand the background programming, coding, and all that stuff. Sure. Yeah. Otherwise, yeah. If it is administration aspects, definitely. If it is device admin, sysadmin, all that stuff, not an issue. Yeah. Exactly. Hmm. Ha. Yes. Yes. Ha. Okay. Ha. Sure. Sure. I understand. Okay. Yeah. To an extent, as far as my Azure understanding is concerned, so everything is based on JSON script. Okay. So say, let's say for example, I go into Intune device, okay, so Intune portal, and I want to set up device enrollment, okay. So I want to set up Windows enrollment, and I want to, set up a deployment profile, for example, okay. So I'm going to create a profile for Windows machines. So I'm going to set up some settings. So it says give me a name, okay, I'll call it XYZ profile, whatever it is, okay. So it says convert all targets by default to autopilot. It's saying options, yes or no. Okay. So I'll say yes, it becomes one setting. Okay. So convert all, target devices to autopilot is equal to true. If I say no is equal to false. And here immediately it gives you a link to learn more about this. Okay, I'll say no is equal to false. Then it says how will be the out of box experience. So will it be user driven or self deploying? So if it is self deploying, it is still in preview. Okay, it's not generally available yet. So in a production scenario, maybe at the time we will still go with user driven. then how will the machine get joined to Azure AD? Will it be direct join or hybrid AD join? Meaning it's already on-premise AD join, now it will join Azure AD also. Okay, or will it just join Azure AD? That's fine. Then you will say show Microsoft license terms. So if I say hide, it will say is equal to false. If I say show is equal to true, that kind of stuff. So each one of these settings will create a background JSON script that interacts with your web interface, or your whatever in the background we have. There is a application involved, there is a background database involved, all the background components. It will be a JSON script which will be interacting with these background components and enabling this profile for me. Everything is JSON driven. Yes. So if you are somebody from a Java background, you will definitely understand this. Okay, so that is one thing I am aware of. It's all JSON script based. So whatever are the background components, whether it is Azure engine or Azure, fabric set, whatever components are involved. So everything is a JSON script. Like in case of Azure resource management. So when we say create a resource, the same thing happens. Okay, for this trial, I don't have a subscription setup, but yeah, see, it says immediately start with the trial. So I have other tenants which I use. That's not a problem if we have to create any resources in Azure. So everything is JSON script based. So all the settings that we define, they will be executed as JSON scripts. Everything that we do, it's not just about enrollment. Let it be app deployment. So I say create an app and deploy it. Say I want to deploy it to a Windows 10 and later machine. Okay, or let's say it's just a LOB app. Okay, select. So it says select the app package file. Okay, so where is your file? So it says okay, MSI. Let me select an MSI package here. Where are my sample apps? So I just want to deploy an MSI pack, let's say the 7-zip. So I'll select the pack and say okay. Fine, then other things come. So who's a publisher? Enter that info. If you want to give any specific command line argument. So are you doing it a user based or device based installation? Okay, so everything will be a JSON script where the value will be like true or false, that kind of stuff. Okay. So there should be some documentation available. Definitely, let me go through it. So once I establish an understanding of the background work, definitely I will be sharing it with you. Sure, not a problem. Okay, sure. Anything else you want to clarify? Okay. Anybody else? Ravi, go ahead, Ravi. Hmm. Hmm. As of now, that is what I understand. It doesn't do server management. Okay. Otherwise, most of the components or features almost remain the same. Yeah. Okay. So if I can see a document I have here, so comparison. See. So Intune and Sccm. Okay. So Intune, it says supports. Okay. What Intune supports and what Sccm. Okay. Microsoft Windows, yes, desktop versions it will support. But see, server Intune does not support. Sccm it supports. Okay, Windows Phone, yeah, Intune supports. Sccm will support Windows 10 only. But nowadays we don't see Windows phones being used much. Coming to other third party, Intune supports iOS. Sccm will not. Windows RT, yes and no. Android, Sccm will not support. Intune will support. Okay. So compliance settings like deploy and customize Windows PC devices, configuration settings, WMI registry, etc. Intune cannot do. Sccm can do. Okay. So deploy configuration settings to mobile devices. Intune can do. Sccm cannot do. So it's not like comparison. So there are certain things only Sccm can do. There are certain things only Intune can do. Okay, and in comparison there are so many things both Sccm and Intune can do. Huh. Speed, yes, Intune speed and all, because it is a cloud based service, this will purely depend upon your internet bandwidth and network connection. Okay, so where your end users connect from, are they connecting from their home, are they working from office? Okay, so the networking connections used, the network bandwidth, all those sort of aspects, because this is cloud based. Okay, on premise it would be a different scenario, right? You will have your own VPNs, or you will have your site to site VPN connections, point to site VPN connections also. Even for Intune also that can be done, that's a different aspect. Or even without VPN, you can still make it a secure login and authentication process, and then secure access to data and apps, not a problem. So the speed at which we can perform tasks will depend purely on your network bandwidth and network aspects purely. Yes. Okay, so this document has all the differences listed in detail. See some common things Sccm and Intune can do: inventory rationalization, app distribution, software updates, OS deployment, compliance management, remote maintenance. Intune can also do some things commonly: inventory rationalization, app distribution, etc. Okay, but certain things what Sccm can do, Intune cannot do. Okay, so we need not do a comparison in all cases at all times. You just have to identify your requirement, your business requirement. Okay, so if it is purely end user device management and you don't want to set up your own infrastructure to avoid the cost aspect, or maintenance aspect and other things, and you want to go live as soon as possible, Intune would be better. Now even some companies with an existing on-premise infra can also migrate to Intune. Okay, not a problem. Maybe down the line all companies where it is only end user computing will definitely move to Intune. But what about if you are a on-premise environment where you have servers as well? You have your own data centers at multiple locations, and you have hundreds and thousands of servers. You can't migrate servers to Intune, right? You can migrate them to Azure. Okay, so all physical machines can convert to virtual machines, and then you can move them to Azure. Migration to Azure can be done, but there'll still be servers, and they cannot be managed with Intune. No, that cannot be done. So as of now, this is one major difference between Intune and Sccm, is that server support component, and Sccm is an on-premise tool, whereas Intune is purely cloud-based. These are the two major differences. Okay, so definitely I'll be sharing these documents with you. So they'll have a lot of, so what are Sccm pros and cons, So both, again, they have their own advantages as well as disadvantages also. So what are Intune pros? It is cloud native, strong in MDM. SCCM is not strong in MDM because it does not support third party. Okay. So good at lightweight, smaller apps, mobile device apps, etc. Auto provisioning, it's good. Okay. Autopilot is good. But there are some cons also. Narrow focus on mobile device. It's not a full systems management platform like SCCM. Doesn't support server side apps. Not intended for large applications. Like if you run some heavy duty apps, SAP, HANA, that kind of stuff, Intune will not be able to handle. Doesn't have the feature set to handle complex package deployments that we can do in SCCM. Okay. Incurs egress on monthly usage fees based on the volume of data transmitted. Or maybe infrastructure cost will be less, but your internet ingress will be high. A lot of data, upload download takes place on a monthly basis. So your internet bills will be higher. So you need a better package, network bandwidth. So if you have like 1,000 devices to manage, then definitely you'll be incurring a lot of internet bill cost. Okay, so one side, yeah, it will take down the infrastructure cost, but on the other hand, it will increase your internet ingress, exit. Okay, challenges in planning: difficult to predict the number or size of software updates that will occur over time. So like in patching process in SCCM, I can precisely control which patches I want to deploy, which I can avoid, but I cannot do that in Intune. Okay, everything becomes mandatory. Maybe I can hold them for a certain period of time, but I cannot completely avoid them. That is not possible in Intune. Okay, so yeah, definitely if you are in a transit zone where your company wants to get into Intune and migrate everything from SCCM to Intune, then definitely go through all available documentation, see all the pros and cons. Only after you develop a good fundamental understanding of what SCCM can do, what Intune can do, then establish which product is better for you and stick to that. Okay, so take all these things into consideration: pricing aspect, technical aspects, what you want to manage end of the day, who are your target users and devices, what exactly they need in terms of line of business, all that stuff. Okay, so yeah, this will be a useful document, so go through this and then definitely you will understand what Intune can do, what SCCM can do or can't, etc. Okay, so those are the two major differences I see as of now. No server support in Intune, and it is purely cloud based, whereas SCCM is on premise. It includes server support also. Okay, so Microsoft recommends no comparison. Okay, they say co-manage. If you have a hybrid environment where you want both Intune and SCCM, definitely do co-management. Or if you want to migrate everything to Intune, that's up to you. But if you have servers, then you'll be stuck. You can't migrate servers to Intune Portal because Intune does not support servers. Okay, only end user computing as of now. Maybe down the line, Microsoft may do it. We don't know as of now. They may or may not. But as of now, Microsoft strongly recommends co-management. If you have an on-premise or a hybrid environment, they do that. They recommend co-management. Okay, fine. So, anybody else who wants to clarify? Any other doubts at all? Please feel free. Because, yeah, this can be about 1 month all in all. So we can have about 4 sessions per week. Each session can be 2 hours. So it should be about 4 to 5 weeks. Let's say about 20 sessions. How we plan it, yeah, how we plan it, it's up to our schedule and availability and convenience in terms of time. Yes, okay. Huh. Exactly. Now coming to end user experience, I'll not be able to show you on Android or Apple devices. That will not be practically viable. Okay. Huh. But as far as the Intune portal configurations are concerned, definitely everything that you need to do as a admin to enroll Apple devices or to enroll Android devices, definitely we'll do that. Okay. Yeah. Yes. 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 Yeah, troubleshooting scenarios definitely we'll be going through. Okay, we can't intentionally create troubles, but yeah, troubleshooting scenarios we will discuss. Not a problem. Okay, so there will be some relevant logs. Okay, event viewer kind of stuff. So just like SCCM, Intune has its own log set. So we will go through those logs wherever possible. How to pull the logs to a central location also can be done, or you can take remote control of the target device and verify the logs from there. Event viewer is also an important aspect, whether an event did take place or did it fail, that kind of stuff. Sure. So typical troubleshooting scenarios we can definitely go through, not a problem. Ah, everything is real time here. There is nothing like lab environment. Okay, so I am going to sign up for an Ems trial. Okay, only thing is it will be free licensing for 90 days. That's all. Everything is real time. Okay, so this is real time scenario. Only difference is, yeah, in real time you may have hundreds and thousands of users here, and coming to devices, yeah, you may have hundreds and thousands of devices. Okay, here you may just have about 5-10 users and about 4-5 devices. That's all. That's the only difference. Okay, because I cannot enroll hundreds of devices, or I cannot create hundreds of users unnecessary for me, right? Okay, that will be the only difference. So the number of users you see and the number of devices you see, that will be the difference. Everything else is as it is in real time. Okay, so this is a live account. This is a EMS subscription that I have signed up. Only difference is first 90 days it's free. After 90 days, if I wish to continue, I'll have to pay. Okay, so for your learning purpose, don't start paying Microsoft from day one, because you have the trial period, right? So everybody gets a trial period. So just sign up for a trial. All you need is, in India, you need a PAN number. That's all. You can use a yes. You create a Microsoft 365 account. It's called. So you can use any of your personal mail ID. You use a Google ID or a Gmail account or a Hotmail account or a Yahoo account. Don't worry. Any personal email ID is fine if it is for your learning purpose. But if it is for your production, obviously you'll use your corporate mail ID, and for corporate billing you will use your company PAN number, etc. Okay, but for your own learning exercise you will create a trial, EMS trial. You just use a personal ID, and it needs a PAN number. That is mandatory. because after 90 days, if you wish to continue, you can convert it into a paid subscription. If not, you can stop there. Okay, if you don't want to continue, you can just cancel that, not a problem. Okay, so everything is real time here. Okay, only difference is the number of users and devices we manage. That's all. Okay, so that's not a problem. Everything is as we do it in real time. Sure. Yes, I have a lot of documents, both Microsoft provided and documents that I have prepared myself personally. So all the resources you need will be provided, and Microsoft official document is available. I'll be sharing all those important links with you. Not a problem. Okay, so any resources that you need from my end, I will provide, or anything that you need to download, I'll be giving you all the links you can download. Yes. Okay. So I'll share some interview FAQs, some important documents that can help you with your, interview part and all. That's not a problem. Sure. Okay. So it's all about, putting in an effort for about 1 month's time and learning some new technology. Okay. So if you are already into Sccm administration and if you want to explore further, then definitely Intune will be a very good option for you to, move forward in your career, go up the tech ladder. Okay, because more and more companies have started getting into Intune part, so they need administrators in Intune who can do both. In fact, co-management, somebody who can do both SCCM and Intune administration. Yes, deploy apps, deploy patches, deploy operating system also. Sure, we will be doing all that. Reporting also same, it's just like your SCCM reporting, but this is, functionality is slightly different. SCCM reporting is purely SQL based, right? Intune reporting is console based in the portal. See, yeah. So we'll run everything from here. All sorts of reports I can do. Okay. So if I think there is integration with Power BI also. If you know how to use Power BI, you can integrate Intune reports with Power BI also. That's not a problem. If you want video recording of the session, I can do that. That's not a problem. Sure. Every session I can record, and towards the end of the class, I can share it on Google Drive. Not a problem. Huh. Uh, so probably we'll start in about 1 week's time. Depending upon the turn up and availability. So if I have some confirmations, we can start from March. Next Monday, that is, what is the date? 28th, I guess. Okay. Monday through Friday, or Monday through Saturday. In between, on Wednesday, we'll be having a break usually. Okay, so Monday through Friday or Monday through Saturday. Wednesdays I'll not be available. Uh, so we can have 4 or 5 sessions per week, 2 hours per session, either in the morning or in the evening, depending upon your availability. Okay, or if you think it's not convenient, we can do weekend sessions also. That's not a problem. So if you can't manage, time on weekdays, so we can do a complete weekend session. So Saturday about 3 hours and Sunday about 3 hours, that kind of stuff. So whatever is convenient to you, that's okay with me. Okay, either a session in the morning or in the evening, weekdays. If not, Saturday and Sunday we can do 2 sessions per week. So that will be about 4 or 5 weekends. Yeah, it will be a slow and steady process. Okay, I'll not do things in a hurry. So everybody has their own learning curve, right? Varies from person to person. So I'll try to keep it slow and steady so that everybody are on the same page and they learn at their own pace. That would be better. Okay. Yeah. So for any further details, you can get back to Shankar. He will give you all the details. Okay. As far as the batch commencement is concerned, yeah, most likely we can start from next Monday, March 28th. No problem. Hmm. Sorry, I didn't get you. Can you come again? Hmm. Okay. Let me check on my availability as well. So if I have to plan 2 sessions, then I'll do it accordingly. Or maybe I'll do one session on weekdays and one session on weekends. So, huh, not a problem. Yeah, with prior notice, yeah, that's okay. But to keep a track of everything, it can be a bit difficult. But once you commit to particular session, it would be better that you stick to that particular session so that you go in a particular flow. Okay, maybe you sign up in morning batch, but because you miss some classes and you want to attend in weekend batch. What if uh, I have already completed those topics in that batch? Getting my point? Yeah, if I have not completed that topic, yeah, definitely you can log into the session, not a problem. So if you miss any session, you are always welcome to log in another batch. I don't have any issues with that. But if that topic is already complete, the one which you are trying to attend, then that can be a bit of a difficult problem. Okay. So yeah, if at all you are going to miss any session because of some emergency or personal reason, if you can notify me at least one day before, that's fine. I can hold the session for that day or cancel the session for that particular day. That's fine. So yeah, all in all, we'll make sure that nobody misses a session. So even if you miss a session, definitely you can attend it in another batch. That's not a problem. So I'll be sharing the video recordings also. If you prefer it that way, then yeah, sure, that's not a problem. Okay. So any other doubts, Ravi? Okay. Yes. I've been working on a project for the past 1 year. It's a UK based company, logistic company. I'll not be able to divulge the company name, but yes, okay. But I'll be honest with you. I'm strictly from an administrative background. Okay, so I don't go into the programming, coding, or scripting part. Yeah. So anything which relates to an administration topic, definitely. Okay, I can help you with that. But I'm not into programming, coding, or scripting and all that stuff. Okay, so Microsoft has so many resources to offer for free and so many tools are available, so we just make use of those tools even in real time also. The the same thing happens. Okay, so we just make use of them, but otherwise I am not honestly good with programming and coding kind of stuff. I was never into that area, so administration is purely my core competency, not programming or coding. Okay, so I'm good at administration and infrastructure part. That is my strength. Yeah, but if you ask me for programming and coding, I'll be honest, I lack knowledge in that area. Okay, so I just depend on Microsoft tools for that matter. Sure. Okay, no problem. So anybody else, Upendra or Vikas? Okay, so no problem. So thank you for your time on a weekend. So if you are interested, please get in touch with Shankar again. Okay, so for any other details, so most probably we'll start from next Monday. Okay, so let me check with Shankar regarding the availability, and you know I just need about 3 4 confirmed registrations, so then we can start a batch from coming Monday. Sure, not okay. Right then, thank you all. Thank you for your time. Happy weekend. Hope to join you. Hope to see you soon for the Intune training program. Okay. Bye.